Hello everyone, welcome to From the Star Wars Home Video Library. I'm your host Nathan P. Butler. This time we continue our look at some foreign releases, in this case also The Phantom Menace, just like what we saw last time with one from Russia. This is one that actually comes from France, and the reason I picked this up was so that in the book I could show an example of a format that is different than what we see in most of the releases that we have seen both on this show and in the book. It's actually the first in that format that I have owned. We're used to thinking of things in terms of the two primary standard definition formats that were out there, right? NTSC and PAL. It has to do with frame rate, it has to do with resolution, and depending on which format it was playable in different regions, whereas you would need a region-free or all-region VCR or multi-region VCR to be able to actually play one in the other. That continued all the way up through the SD era. But if you think those were the only two, no, there is another. The other he spoke of is SECAM. S-E-C-A-M. This was a format that was similar to PAL in most respects, but slightly different. I'll go into the differences in the book. It's kind of a technical thing I'm not sure I'm entirely grasping yet, so I'm spending a little more time looking it over. But essentially similar to what we see with PAL, except in other regions, and one of the regions that used it, that I believe actually invented it because it's where the acronym comes from, is France. And that meant that in order to show an example, I really need to find a French copy of something. And as I mentioned last time, one of the things I like to do is focus in on a product or a set of products and try to show them from multiple regions to show how they are different. And in the book, there's now going to be the across the galaxy sidebars that do that visually with photos. So in this case, what wound up being a perfect example would be a copy of The Phantom Menace on VHS from France, that is, SECAM. And several people pointed me to this. I think the first person who pointed me to any of the auctions for these was Matthew Hardesty, I believe. And I wound up actually buying 3 of these, because the first one I bought wouldn't play. The reels wouldn't move at all. Like, they were stuck. So I wound up getting 2 others to try to replace that one, with one of them hopefully working. I thought I was going to be doing the episode sooner, so I wasn't going to just do one and then try another one, so I just grabbed 2 cheaper ones. And it's weird because they almost have something to them that makes me think this feels like a bootleg. But it's not, apparently, because that would mean that bootlegs were including official marketing materials and you were seeing them from multiple sources. So it's just a weird product to me. Anyway, what we're going to look at here is that. This is The Phantom Menace from France. Okay? So you look at the packaging here. This screams full screen, doesn't it? Because that's what the full screen image always looked like in the packaging. If it was widescreen, it'd be organized differently and go all the way out to the edges. No, this is a widescreen copy coming out of France. Okay? Their packaging for widescreen was essentially what we think of as the packaging for full screen. I have no idea if full screen even existed in France for this. So we have Star Wars in English, the logo, with the 1 behind it, but then the title in French. La Menace Fantôme. I do not speak French, just like I don't speak Japanese, etc., etc. Basically, for the record, I speak English, I took a little Latin, I took a little Russian. That's it. And the Russian and Latin are pretty much gone. I'm 41. I would love to learn some more languages, but I'm not sure how many new tricks this old dog is going to learn, even with an app like Babbel, though I've been considering it. Anyway, so underneath here, you've got the sort of THX mastered stuff, except it's in French. Master digital pour une qualité de son et d'image optimale. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly or not. That's my... I've heard it enough, and I've taken some Latin, so I'm going to give it a shot. But I probably didn't say it right. And then, of course, THX in the middle there. Then you got your spine, 20th Century Fox Home Entertainment, French title, English logo with the 1, MAL, THX. It just says THX Master Digital, instead of digitally mastered, Master Digital, and then Lucasfilm at the bottom. Obviously, there's nothing on the other side, so there's no Obi-Wan Qui-Gon spine, because this is a clamshell case. The back, similar to what we see in most regions here, French text. Then you get down into the cast crew information, and it is all in English, including like music by, various logos and whatnot. It does say this is the French version français. Notes the fact that it is widescreen, if you can read what it is, because it talks about the aspect ratio of 2.35. And then you've got legalese down here that is in English and then French, a little bit of both. And then you've got your Tout Publics, which I guess is maybe the distributor name, perhaps, and UPC and all that. Inside, you have what I'm assuming came with it, probably, because this would have been 2000. You've got a slip here that advertises the trilogy on VHS, which would have been the French equivalent of the 2000 VHS set that we've seen before, primarily from the US, but also recently from Japan. And then you've got a coupon book kind of thing here. Or I guess not even a coupon book, more like an offer book. So you got things that you could buy, but then there's offers to mail away if you have like proof of purchases, I guess, and stuff like that. Kind of advertising book that we see in a lot of different regions, but that is a French version of that. And then you have the cassette itself. And this is actually something that made me initially think this may be a bootleg when I got my first copy, but all the copies I've seen have the same. And now I have 3 of them at this point, after the first one didn't turn, and 2 were ordered to replace it from different places, including one that came with all the original advertising stuff. So if it was a bootleg, it would have to have been a bootleg put in the original case with original advertising stuff, which I doubt. But it's still kind of weird. They're all like this. This is the label. It's not printed on it, it's just a sticker as a label. That in and of itself is not a big deal, but notice at the top, it's kind of misaligned in the cut. But they're all kind of misaligned in the cut for every copy I've seen. It's just kind of weird. I mean, it's not overly misaligned, but it's almost like at the top they were going for more something trapezoidal than actually a right angle. Kind of odd. But there you go. That is the English film title, or the English series title logo with a Roman numeral behind it again, but then French title underneath it, and then the duration, the legalese is a mixture of first English and then French again, Lucasfilm, THX, 20th Century Fox, Home Entertainment. But you pop this in your player, and what you're going to find is that it is French dubbed, and the opening crawl and text is all in French, with the exception of the Star Wars logo as it zooms off into the distance. The logo is still the English version, which does make it different from that Russian one that we just looked at. And again, it is widescreen, not full screen, despite the packaging suggesting otherwise in its style when compared to other regions. But again, it's the 3rd format that's out there. It is SECAM, not PAL or NTSC, though it is incredibly similar in most respects to PAL. I'll go into more of that in the book. Suffice to say, there are 3 out there. It's rarer to find SECAM ones because they were available in less places. I'd never picked one up before. Here's our first example out of France. With that, we'll wrap up this episode. Thank you for watching, and may the Force be with the home video viewers.